Should goals be set in uncertain and complex environments, or should workers simply be told to do their best? This is a study on Nissan Casting Australia plant by Justin Tile. NCAP. So NCAP is a high pressure die casting facility located in Dandenong, South Victoria, Australia. We produce car parts for Nissan globally. We have 4 different types of machines: 800 tonne, 1250 tonne, 2250 and 2500 tonne machines. Typically machines force molten aluminium into a mould cavity to produce a product. This means it's a complex and dynamic environment. The die casting process is incredibly complex and always changing. Also, the amount of products we have to maintain mean that we're constantly working on maintenance of machines, maintenance of dies, as well as changing dies and changing machines. It's a very hazardous environment given the nature of equipment we have to use, the large cranes we have to use, the weight of the dies, and the molten aluminium. We typically run 3 8-hour shifts a day, and we run production around 364 days a year, stopping for Christmas. Why should we set goals here at NCAP? Goals typically lead to more efficient outcomes, indicating that the more goals we set, the more efficient we will be as a production facility. 90% of studies found challenging goals led to better outcomes, indicating that the harder we set our goals to be, the more we will actually achieve. Goal difficulty and task performance has been shown to have a positive linear relationships. This means that the harder we set them, the more we'll achieve, and goals are required to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. This means that the worker can actually have a vision of what is going to be achieved. He can actually achieve it. He can see a specified time frame to achieve it within, and we can measure him as a result of his achievements and accomplishments. Goal setting further increases commitment and motivation of workers, giving them a vision to work towards. This better aligns them with the overall organisational vision and goals, and it shows that they can actually add value to the overall vision of the organisation. Why not set goals? Why not simply just tell our workers to do their best? Basically, goal setting has always had its critiques. There are negative impacts on stringent goal setting. Some people believe it has a narrow focus and it can hone in on one aspect of the value-adding process that is our organisation. So for example, if we want to narrow in to die down time, we could simply neglect the quality of our parts. We could reduce die down time effectively, but as a result we would have no parts from a shift to actually sell to the customer due to the poor quality of them. This leads to neglected areas of the value-added chain. It also leads to distorted performance figures and a corrosion of the organisational behaviour. So all facets need to be taken in consideration when goal setting. Perceptions of outcomes differ due to individual personality traits. So for example, if I fell short of a goal, if I had low self-esteem, I might be very unmotivated in the future. However, if I had very high self-esteem, I might be even more motivated to achieve my goals in the future. And this is somewhat of a duality effect that goal setting can have, and therefore we need to take individuals into consideration when we set goals. Goals are also linked with motivators to incentivize corruption. So for example, if I was to work for Toolroom and only focus on die downtime, I wouldn't really care if it was down due to machine downtime or if we weren't making quality parts, as long as my targets were met. This leads to conflicting of interest, increasing conflict within the organisation, and it also incentivizes corruptions within the organisation. Goal setting also leads to commitment, even in failing courses of action. So for example, if I was a process engineer and I had a target of making a part every 70 seconds, regardless of what it was doing to the die or the machine and whether they were capable of making a part every 70 seconds, I would still strive down the path of making it down to 70 seconds, even though this may be having a detrimental impact to the overall organisation. What is the impact on safety around goals? So there's no way around it. Goals can increase stresses. Stresses lead to increased incidents on site. Creating goals around safety does put the focus back on safety and lead to a better, safer environment. These goals could be such as targeted 0 lost time injuries. It also leads to an increased commitment to safety of the workers and management staff. Also, proper reporting of safety goals is necessary. If we communicate these goals to individuals at the start of the shift, they are more likely to remember the goals when undertaking the shift and therefore be safer as a result. Furthermore, increased communication of safety goals can have a duality effect in which workers communicate to management staff issues that need fixing around the facility and possible hazards. The Weyerhaeuser Task Force experiment was conducted in a similar facility to NCAP, so it can be seen as very applicable to NCAP. Basically, due to increased demand and decreased profits, the facility was required to increase production whilst keeping costs stagnant. Therefore, they were required to motivate scientists, engineers, and staff alike. So they came up with a few options. They could either engage in participative goal setting, allowing teams to set goals, or assign goals, dictating to teams what goals they should set. And as a result, they should have 4 outcomes: public recognition as a result of success, praise as a result of success, monetary bonus as a result of success, or punishment as a direct result of failure. Typically, higher performance was found in groups that set their own goals, indicating that participative goal setting was far better than the dictatorial kind. Why was this? It's typically found that they set higher goals. Monetary rewards and praise was a tie for performance increasing, ahead of public recognition and punishment. Furthermore, it was found that when goal setting remained constant over a duration of time, that people became complacent with these goals and they were less achieved and performance reduced as a result. So what model should NCAP put in place? NCAP should use goal setting as common practice. We should focus on achievable yet difficult goals to better motivate individuals. Goals should be difficult yet achievable. We should target specific goals for safety and remind individuals of these goals at the start of every single shift to ensure that we engage in the safest practices in our industry. Participative goal setting should be set by teams, as this improves the performance of overall goals, as teams know the tasks best and they are likely to set the hardest goals and the most achievable goals as a result. Individual consideration for goals should also be undertaken to help personality growth, so those with low self-esteem can be given easier goals to begin with, thus boosting their motivation and increasing their performance. And then they should, once their self-esteem has increased, move on to harder goals. Praise or monetary rewards should also be used to reward goal performance, and this should have an overall impact on increasing efficiency of the plant, better aligning people and individual workers with Nissan globally, and have a better impact on the value chain. Any questions?